Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Mental Conditioning Monday. I am your host, mental conditioning trainer, Elliot Allen. How was everybody's week? How was everybody's weekend? Here in the New York area, the weather, we actually had a pretty decent weekend. We getting some of that snow melted, so I'm actually feeling really good. I believe, listen, our mindset is dictated by everything. I always say that, our mindset is dictated by everything, and even just the weather can put you just in a different mood. So this morning I feel good. The sun is out. We might hit about 68 tomorrow. We're supposed to get 70. It's going to drop back down, I think, later on in the week, but we deal with that when it comes. But I'm excited about it. It just gives you a different feeling, like, yes, it feels good. You smell that different air. It doesn't feel like cold. Like I said, we just about got rid of most of the snow. Some of the huge piles that we had are still around. That's going to probably be around. Maybe we can get rid of it or really make a dramatic change on it by tomorrow, between today and tomorrow. It feels really good to have this change of weather. That's why I do enjoy the seasons, because you get a chance to see different weather. Sometimes I actually, dare I say, enjoy the cold, even though as I get older, I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. But I do like that from the standpoint of just the changing of the seasons. And sometimes cold makes me grind a little bit more. I'm ready to go. Sometimes it gets warmer. It softens me up. I want to go on vacation. I'm not necessarily in the work mode all the time. So just that different changes of seasons for me gets me going. And I do enjoy that aspect of life. But I feel really good. I feel excited today. I feel excited about the opportunities, being able to move forward. We have a dynamite episode of the Mental Conditioning Gym podcast coming up this week. Check it out. If you didn't check out last week's, we had another excellent episode. I talked a little bit about it last week. The mindset of a professional man. Check that out. And then this week we have the young, dynamic Titus Williams, two-time Golden Glove champion, and just a really dynamite young man that, he came in and shared a whole lot. So we're going to have those things coming up. And, of course, we're going to have some sessions in the Mental Conditioning Gym as well. We're getting all of those things together. So join us. Get with it. The Mental Conditioning Gym is really pushing the levels of to be able to go forward, to be able to progress, to be able to get everybody to understand that our mindset is truly the guide to our success in life, truly the guide to our direction in life. Whether it's you're at a crossroads, it shows you which direction to take and to be able to move forward. So let's move forward with that. And let's talk about Mental Conditioning Monday's message for this week. Mental Conditioning Monday's message for this week is going to be the stuff. The stuff. What do you mean we're talking about the stuff? So this has really been an up and down portion for me personally in my life. Just up and down things are going on. And quite frankly, sometimes it feels like a lot of it is kind of, I'm spending more time down here than up here. But you have to keep on moving. And it gives me, as I woke up this morning, I guess I feel good about life. I feel, let's push forward. I got a lot of things on the table that's really troubling right now. But at the same time, I'm here and I'm able to push forward. And you think about your mindset. And you think about, why do we train? We train for mental clarity. And so what happens? How do we lose that clarity? We lose that clarity because of that stuff. That stuff is what makes us lose our clarity in our lives. And so we have to be able to train for that. We have to be able to recognize that. This is the thing that you have to realize, that, we always say, there's a saying, life is just hard. Relationships are hard. Work is hard. Financial success is hard. But it's not really that. It's not really that. Life is not really that difficult, but it's the stuff that you get dealt that makes life challenging. That's a big piece that we have to really understand. When you break it away, when you break away all those things that are the stuff that happens. That's another word you can insert there that's not as nice, but this is I try to keep it a children's shelter where everybody can listen and not be offended. But the stuff that happens in your life, that's what causes you to have non-clarity. That's what causes you to really get down on your situation and feel like, life is just so hard because of that stuff. Think about it right now. Early homework assignment to go through as we're doing the lesson today. Think about what it is that's that stuff for you right now that's bothering you. If that was clear, and more than likely all of us got several things on the list. We ain't got just one thing that's on the list of the stuff. If you can get all of that stuff off the list right now, how would you feel about things? You know what? Life is moving along just fine. But that stuff is preventing you oftentimes to get to the goal, that big picture. When you install the 4 principles, I'm going to get to how you're going to put the 4 principles into this. It really, really makes you do a lot of foundational thinking. That stuff makes you do the foundational thinking, because let's go into it now and talk about the 4 principles and add it up to there. The number 1 principle is self-evaluation. When that stuff happens to you, what gets rocked the most? Or what becomes the most non-clear? Believe it or not, it's your self-evaluation. Remember I said you start to doubt yourself. My life is just so hard. I don't know if I can really do that. I don't know if I can withstand this storm. Your self-evaluation is being attacked because of that stuff. So this is where the foundation, and the foundation of life to me, is the 4 principles. That's the foundation of your mindset, is the 4 principles. And it starts with your self-evaluation. This is why it's very important to be very strong with that. That's why it's very important to constantly keep training with that. Constantly keep the heat on yourself and say, I got to do my self-evaluation. Because when that stuff comes, I'm not trying to suggest to you it's going to be easy, because it ain't easy. It's very difficult. But when that stuff comes, I still have the clarity to say, okay, even when you get knocked down for a second and you woozy, I'm a little woozy, but I still know who I am. When I got to just take a few minutes to clear my head. Sometimes it may take a day or two to clear my head, but at the same time, I can always get back to know my foundation and my self-evaluation. I know who I am. And now I can keep moving forward. That's what gives you the energy to say, man, well, damn, all that going on, you still seem like you got a pretty good attitude. Yes, because I'm able to move forward. Are you still struggling with those things? That's that stuff? Absolutely. Are you still having those moments to the day where, God damn, I can't catch a break? Do you still have those moments during the course of the day? Absolutely. No matter how good your self-evaluation is. But when you have that situation where you really understand your self-evaluation, that what's really troubling is that stuff. And I implore you, plug it in. Plug the aspects of your life in there. We're talking about relationships, marriages. When you're married, I've been married 20 years. Listen, marriage itself, and this is people who be like, what are you talking about? Marriage itself is not hard. Marriage itself is not hard. It's the stuff around it that makes marriage hard. It's the stuff around it that makes marriage hard. When you have just 2 people, or whether you're in a marriage or whether you're in a relationship, those things are not really, those 2, they're not hard. Because you connect with the person. It's like, yo, I really like this person. I dig being with this person. We get along great. But it's the stuff that happens that has nothing to do with you and your partner as individuals. It's just other stuff that happens life-wise that puts challenges on your relationships, on your marriage, whether it's in just relationships in general, friendships, business partners, parenting to child, siblings. The stuff that happens is what puts the pressure on those relationships. But that's where, again, you have to have the foundation. When you're in a relationship, you have to have the foundation of, I know who we are. I'm trusting who we are. So when this stuff happened, I still trust in the foundation of who we are. So we can still get past that. Because I know it's not, at the end of the day, I know it's not about you. It's not even about me. It's about this thing that happened. And how do we deal with that thing and incorporate and know that it's not about us. And our lives, again, and we break it down into our own individual lives, it's the same thing. You have to have that trust. Watch out, see how powerful that is? That's what self-evaluation is all about, is developing the ability to have trust in yourself, because I know who I am. Not an easy thing to do, because you will be tested with that stuff. That stuff is going to test you mightily, because when you get tested with that stuff, if you don't know who you are, if you don't have excellent self-evaluation, that stuff will overcome you and overwhelm you, and you get lost, and you have a situation where there's no clarity in your life. As we go to the second principle of decision making, you're making poor decisions because that stuff got me off of who I am. So I cannot make a good decision. I cannot, the third principle, be clear about what my big picture is. And I sure as hell, when I get knocked down, there ain't no way I can get up. That stuff hit me so hard that all I could do is stay down here. I have no desire to get up. So I encourage everybody out there to really understand how important stuff is to our lives. And be clear, we will never, ever, ever be able to avoid getting hit by stuff. That's just inevitable. If you believe that, you will not. We don't do fantasy world here. We do reality-based mental training. And I'm telling you right now, the reality is if you believe that you're never going to get hit with stuff, you're already down. That's the bottom line. We will get hit with stuff. But the ability to be able to have clarity through that has everything to do with the 4 principles of mental conditioning, being able to have excellent self-evaluation. It really starts off with that. And really just, again, understanding the concept is that stuff is going to happen. So I want you, that's the homework for this week. I want you guys to really gain some clarity. And if you have to, you know me, I love to write stuff down. So write it down on a piece of paper. What's that stuff right now that's really bothering your relationship? What's that stuff right now that's really bothering you? What's that stuff right now that's really bothering your job and your careers? Sometimes, listen, you can have a great job. You know what? I really enjoy working at this job. I've been here for a couple years, and then that stuff happens. And they say, I don't like this job. It's not that you don't like the job, but that stuff happens. You just have to get through it. The job didn't change, but that stuff happened, and it now clouded your mind to, oh, I don't like this. No, it's not that. But that's why you have to have clarity once again about how do I feel about this particular situation. Right now, we're talking about that job. So I encourage everybody, go through the different aspects of your life. If you can, try to keep it personal to you. Write down the stuff that's happening to you right now and try to vision yourself and clear it up. Say, if this wasn't in my life, everything would be good or satisfactory or I have clarity. Remember, stuff happens. Let's train for it. My name is Elliot Allen, Mental Conditioning Monday. Everybody have a great week. I'm fired. I'm going to go outside and enjoy some of this weather.